Hey, Griffin, we're on to Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati. Welcome to episode 97 of Gridiron Garage. Plastic Table Boys are all back together right now, drinking our holiday-flavored Bud Light seltzers like men we are. I got my pumpkin spice in my right hand.
I got my toasted marshmallow.
And I got apple crisps, courtesy of our roommate.
Jackson.
He's gonna listen to this and be like, what the fuck?
They got what?
Those are my beers.
He just found out that we took 3 beers out of his fridge. Thank you. They taste good. Back on the table, fresh off the Iron Man. Plastic Table Boys are all back together, but we'll get into that later. It's sports. Week 4, dude. In the books.
Good week.
Good week.
Football. I enjoyed watching football this weekend, as I did the past 3 weekends.
Yeah.
It's great.
I enjoyed Thursday night football. You know why?
Bengals gonna win.
Because we drafted a fucking kicker in the 5th round. And everybody gave us shit for it, dude. Everybody gave the Bengals shit. Probably gave us like a D draft grade. You know what? He's won 2 games for us.
Two-game winning kicks.
2 games.
I will say the under hit pretty big.
Yeah?
On the when he missed his first kick.
Yeah.
But he made it when it counted. Mm-hmm. And that's more than all of our other kickers could have said.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely jinxed his kick thing.
Oh, for sure.
When he's gonna
Yeah, I'm not convinced that we have any say in what happens in a Bengals game. Although, going back to the Bengals game, I think Joe Burrow listened to me. Because I was like, dude, he needs to get out of the pocket. He needs to extend plays. What did he do? He got out of the pocket and extended plays, and it made it work. He threw for 350.
Damn.
2 tutties?
Something like that.
Had a hell of a game because he extended the plays, got his wide receivers, got his tight ends open by letting them have some time, and it was awesome to watch. He looks like he's almost at full health in that knee. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Joe, if you are listening, come on the
He's
podcast.
back. He's back.
Come on the podcast, Joe.
Come on the podcast, Joe.
Also,
You
big
listen to
shout
Jake.
out. Jamar Chase holds the rookie record, I believe, for fastest touchdown receptions. Or fastest to, what is he at, 5 now? 4?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
4 or 5? I can't remember, but I think
Got a lot.
He broke Randy Moss's record, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but
Pretty sweet.
that is pretty sweet. And, you know, for a guy who can't catch, that's pretty amazing.
Can't catch an NFL ball.
No.
He can catch a college ball.
Yeah, it's a little bigger. He must have like little mitten hands or something.
Doesn't have the stripe on it.
Yeah, dude, but he surprised me as a Bengals fan and as a fantasy football owner of 3 teams. I was skeptical to draft Jamar Chase, but looking back on it, I went with T. Higgins over Jamar Chase, and now I'm kicking myself because he has proven, at least in the first 4 games, that he can get separation, and meaning that by he can go deep, catch the deep ball, and also be able to outrun that cornerback.
I don't think I understood when they drafted him how much of a deep threat he'd be in the NFL. Obviously, he was a deep threat in college. Any good wide receiver in college is going to be a deep threat just because they're good. But for him to come to the NFL and continue to be the deep threat weapon that he has been really surprised me as well.
Dude, it's crazy if you watch the the LSU highlights from that year. They won the national championship. It's like so many just deep strikes. Like, it's ridiculous how good their offense was. Not only just their offensive line and their receivers and their quarterback, obviously, with their defense is really good, but on offense, it's just ridiculous because Joe Burrow broke the record. It was like 55 touchdowns or 56, whatever the record was in college. He broke it. But I would gander to say that, like, you know, there's a good portion of those touchdowns that are 30-plus yarders, like over like 20-something, over like almost half his touchdowns.
In college?
Yeah. It's like a ridiculous
Well, I mean,
amount.
for any NFL level wide receiver, like I bet you look up
I
Julian
understand.
Edelman in college.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
probably him catching deep balls.
Well, he was a
all
quarterback
around.
in college.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say.
He played quarterback. So.
And he
know
played
that.
what, at like Kent State or
Yeah,
something?
Kent State.
Who would you
Quarterback.
consider like a slot wide receiver? Like not a deep threat at all.
Not a deep threat slot right there. Probably Tyler Boyd, honestly.
Like Tyler Boyd, I guarantee him at Pitt back in the day catching bombs all day.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, that whole team, though, was just full of deep threat wide receivers. So it was just like Terrence Marshall, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson catching like 30-plus yard bombs, in some cases 50-plus yard bombs, just like all the time. Just Joe Burrow just flicking it up, them catching it.
So you're saying trade for Justin Jefferson?
And Terrence Marshall. Just bring the whole LSU 2019 national championship team. I mean, they're basically building that, right?
Let's do it.
Dude, if they brought in
They're going to
another,
hire Joe Brady next year, so.
if they brought in another wide receiver, I'd be kind of mad about that.
No, let's do it.
I mean, well, like, it's good in theory, but
Well,
he
from a
doesn't have
position.
time to throw 50-yard bombs every play,
It's funny.
which would be fucking hyped up. But going back, Joe Burrow had 348 passing yards with 2 touchdowns, 25 for 32. Not a bad completion percentage. Does anybody know where the offensive line's ranked after week 4?
They're not great.
Yeah, they're not great.
I'd have to look it up. I would gander to say around 20.
Okay.
My guess.
I know Joe Burrow's in the
complete
upper
blind guess,
half
by the way.
of getting sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was
He has the
like
second
the
most
first 2
sack
weeks.
yards in the NFL. So
Yeah. I don't know. That doesn't look good, but it does look good. I mean, Joe Burrow must be listening to the pod. I mean, Jake pretty much called him out.
Called him out. He answered.
I could be wrong on this too, but I feel like Joe Burrow the offensive line had a really good game against the Steelers. Right. He wasn't really in peril that much. He obviously made some plays get away from sacks, which was the first time he did that one play in the first quarter. I'm thinking of where he somehow avoided the sack, but I feel like most of their sack yards have come in 2 games, and the other 2 they've been that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
didn't he already have 10 sacks by the time they played the Bears?
Maybe I don't know. That was in week 2, right? So that all would have came in week 1. There's no way.
Or maybe it was 5 and 5, or maybe it was after the Bears. I don't know. I knew that he had already 10 sacks after week 2 or something like that.
I don't know.
But
I know the Bears sacked him a lot.
yeah. But you put in here that Tyler Boyd had a big game, which he did. 9 receptions, 118 yards. But why did you leave out our boy CJ Uzama, dude?
So, CJ Uzama did have
95 yards, 2 tutters.
I was mainly pointing out to fantasy people that they were waiting for Tyler Boyd because he was they've been the leading slot guy the last how many years. This is his first good game of the year. So not that he's had bad games, but there's so many weapons on that team.
Only dropped 1 pass.
This team's growing, Griffin. This team's growing. There's going to be some people that are missing out that are trading Bengals players now, and this team's growing.
I got to say, CJ Uzama, if you're listening to this, grow the mustache back. Shave it off, keep the mustache.
Do whatever you're doing now. You've won 2 games for us.
Bring the mustache
CJ
back.
Uzama, I mean, he pretty much won the, I guess Joe
game.
Burrow did, but the Vikings game after Joe Burrow audibled out of that run play and passed the play action to him to seal it. And then this game, I would say 100 yards, 2 touchdowns for a tight end. That's pretty much putting the team on your back.
Yeah, for real.
So,
But I want to throw it back to preseason, a dude that you were hyped about, Trenton Irwin.
he made the team.
Dude, he made the
I didn't know he
team.
made the team, dude. I was sitting on the couch and our roommate was like, dude, there's Irwin. I was like, no way. I mean, he was a baller. He was probably on the practice squad when T. Higgins went down. They brought him back up.
Yeah,
or
I think that
so.
he didn't make the team, but then they signed him to the practice squad, and then with T. Higgins being out, I think he has a shoulder injury, is what I heard on the
T. Higgins?
Yeah. But yeah, dude, Trenton Irwin coming with the ugliest catch you could probably make, but 25 yards, dude, I'll take it. I ain't mad about that.
Dude, he makes plays. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's fast or good route runner, but when he was in there against those second string defensive backs, he was balling, dude. He was balling.
Straight balling.
Good for Trenton Irwin.
So he'll probably have a couple more catches, and I'll get amped every single time.
Oh, yeah.
And then T. Higgins is going to be back, and I'll forget all about that guy's existence until I see him again in 2 years. No way!
That's funny. But so I think the next game up versus the Bengals is the Packers, which would be a pretty good test.
Huge win.
Huge win if they, huge win if they got it. But I think a pretty big test. I mean, their defense isn't great, but I mean, you can't count out Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
I agree.
I like when people call it a measuring stick.
Yeah, it's a measuring stick.
Measuring stick game for the
They're
Bengals.
playing a measuring stick this week.
Jesus, what are they
Yeah, I
whipping
mean-
out their dicks?
It's a measuring stick. You got to see how good you really are. It's the first real good team test.
Bengals need to put some points up because it's going to be hard to stop Aaron Rodgers from scoring.
No
Packers defense has not been great. I just know from my group message with our buddy Joe, loyal listener to the podcast, and
Shout out Joe.
my cousin Ortiz, loyal listener to the podcast.
Shout out
both big
Ortiz.
Packer fans.
They own the team?
They complain. They're not owners, but they're just fans. But they complain so much about the Packers defense all the time. That's all they complain about is Packers defense. So we'll see. The Packers still got some ballers on their defense, but Jair Alexander got carted off last game. I don't know the extent of his injury. One of the best corners in the league. And he got carted off last game. Really sad. So
Ain't good.
Normally, you
Not
don't
gonna be
come
good
back
for
too
defense.
quick from getting carted
I know.
off.
Normally not. They got another guy, a rookie named Stokes from Georgia, who's pretty damn good though. So he's another corner, another DB.
But when you got Randall Cobb making a comeback, dude, 2 touchdowns in a Packers uniform again.
What I got to say is,
Kentucky
Randall
boys.
Cobb, what the fuck, dude? I bet you 2 touchdowns last week, and this week he come and score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he knew. You were
So
close.
close.
That's so close.
So close.
All right, let's bring it back to the Bengals-Jags game. Let's go to the other side of the ball about Trevor Lawrence. So he looked pretty good. I'm not going to
looked
lie.
pretty good.
For
Looked
an
a lot better than
0-3
the first 3
team
games.
at the time, I mean, is Urban Meyer, did he have too much on his mind? to game plan? You know, was he looking forward to Columbus after the game? Or what?
We will talk about Urban Meyer in a second. But before that, I do want to say, I think it because I definitely forgot about it, right? Until like I watched this game, but it reminds you back. Like I think people forgot how athletic Trevor Lawrence is, not just like being in the pocket as a pocket passer, because that's what you think of when you see him, but just like how quick he is, like too. Like he was
especially being
making some of those read
6'6".
Yeah, because I remember watching. I think it would have been. It was the Clemson game in college, the national championship game. I don't remember if it was one of the ones against Alabama, or if it was the one they lost in the playoff semifinal against Ohio State that last year. But he had like a 60-yard touchdown run. He just outran everybody. Like he just got a read option, big hole, and then no one could catch him. Like couldn't chase him down. Like I think people forgot how athletic that dude is, because I know I did. Because I see him, I'm like, oh, he's golden arm. He's like Sunshine from. Remember the Titans? He's just a pocket passer throwing balls, but he's athletic as crap. He can move.
So the Jags are actually a pretty interesting team. I didn't realize it until we were watching the games and they started talking about them. But the Jaguars average 5 yards a carry on offense.
Their running back good.
Their running back, their running is legit. Like that's going to win them some games. I'm not even lying. And then they came out first half, had 0 penalties on offense. I mean, they played clean, no turnovers the whole game, right?
I can look for you.
I believe. I don't think so. At least not in the first half. They had no turnovers, no penalties, averaging 5 yards a carry throughout the entire season. Trevor Lawrence only has to do a little bit of the work if that's the case, and he did it. He did it perfectly. He did it with his legs. He did it with his arm, and
nope, doesn't look like no turnovers.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking at the Bengals like you should have beat the Jaguars by more than 3 points. But in my opinion, the Jaguars played a super clean game, and the Bengals still came out on top. It was actually a pretty good test and a pretty good win for them to do it in prime time and Joe Burrow to show out and get a game-winning drive at the end of the game. So props to Jaguars, and honestly, I see them winning a couple of games this year for sure.
I mean, shout out James Robinson, undrafted free agent, walk on.
Yeah, he played really good last year as a rookie last year and played awesome for him.
Yeah.
Really only bright spot on the
shifty,
team
strong.
last year.
Yeah. I mean, there was times where he was doing like the stutter step into the hole, gone. There's times that he was just bowling ball through for 5 yards. I mean, I was pretty impressed.
They got rid of Leonard Fournette to plug this guy in pretty much.
And Trevor Lawrence he's not like such a threat that you have to like put a defender on him to stop him from running.
I agree with that.
But he just gets out in front of your lineman. He's pretty quick.
Well, so he
can get some yards on you.
Like I can tell. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Bengals were not game planning for him running the ball that much.
Yeah,
because it's like when that wasn't part of the game plan, they probably had to adjust on the fly, which they did a lot better in the second half, stopping it. So credit to the defensive coordinator for making some adjustments there. But you could tell in the first half, like he was just like running the ball, and they were just like, God, we were not expecting him to be this quick. Yeah. Like, he was just getting around the edge and had like I think 2 rushing touchdowns, right? I think Trevor Lawrence had 2. I know he had the one in the first half. I thought he had 2.
Trevor Lawrence, no.
Okay, maybe he just had 1 then.
He didn't have any touchdowns.
He had a rushing touchdown.
It's not what the stats say.
I promise you, because I bet it, and he did it.
All right, let me look real quick.
So I thought he had 2, but anyway. It was a good comeback for the Bengals. Definitely, Jake, watching it with him. Same way I am watching the Cowboys game. He's nervous as shit, just all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Just straight nerves all the time.
Well, watching the Bengals game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd be tripping.
Especially when they're losing 14-0.
I can't be enjoying it. No, not. Well, you don't understand being a Bengals fan and watching them on primetime.
Yeah.
Dude, it could be.
Sucks.
It could be like a 14-1 Bengals team coming into primetime. Like, no confidence in that team. I'm like, dude, anything can happen. I don't care who they're playing, what's going on. Bengals in primetime. You never know. But they came through. It's a new era here in Cincinnati. Let's go.
Well, looking forward to week 5 of the NFL. Hopefully, Joe Mixon's back. Zach Taylor says that he wants Joe Mixon to play. Mixon thinks that he's going to play. I think a high ankle sprain got him at the end of the game. But let's move on to your boys, Dim Boys.
Did have a rushing touchdown.
Did he? Well, blame the NFL.
Blame the NFL.
Because
anyway,
their stats aren't right.
Cowboys-Panthers, awesome game. Before that, I got a question for you, Zach. Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton, Michael Vick, Randall Cunningham, Kyler Murray. Which one would you pick to have 5 rushing touchdowns in the first 4 games of the season?
5 rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, if you were to pick one of those players.
Like before the season, I was just like,
no,
if you asked me.
If you were to pick one of those players, which one would you think of being able to do that in their career? 5 rushing touchdowns in the first 4 games of a single season.
And give it to me again.
Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton, Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, Kyler Murray.
I'm going to go with Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. It's a good pick because he's the only one currently playing. I guess Lamar Jackson's still playing too. Answer, None of those players have ever done it,
really?
but Sam Darnold has.
Damn.
Sam Darnold. I know I'm a Cowboys fan, but I got to give credit where it's due. Sam Darnold, 5 rushing touchdowns in the 4 games of the season. Dude, he looked fast in some of those plays. Like, I was surprised, similar to the Trevor Lawrence, how quick he was. Just Adam Gase was using him wrong. We should have made him a dual threat quarterback in New York. Because so the first one was a QB sneak he scored. And I was like, okay, he scored a QB sneak. And I think he scored like 3 of his 5 are QB sneaks. But this other one, they ran a QB draw on like 3rd and like 7, and he ran like 25 yards for a touchdown, just wide open. And he was quick. Like they couldn't break on him quick enough. I was like, holy shit, Sam Darnold's got wheels.
I'm imagining here is like he shows up in Carolina, and they're trying to like emulate an offense, like to show their defense something.
Pro style offense.
They like emulate a QB run. They're like,
whoa, he's fast.
what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
What's his 40 time?
Jets just made me sit in the pocket.
I'm fast.
Yeah, fast.
Whoa.
Griff, do you know if the Panthers still have their defensive coordinator from when like Cam Newton was back there, when Super Bowl era?
I don't think so. No, that's probably way gone.
Probably. I don't know. Their defense was ranked number 1
Yeah,
last
so
week.
that's what I put. I put in quotes the number 1 defense. Not want to take anything away from them because they have had a real good year defensively, but they kind of played not the greatest competition prior to this game. But still, number 1 ranked defense. I think their linebackers are really good, and Shaq Lawson and all them. Ezekiel Elliott, 140 yards and a touchdown. Dak threw 4 touchdowns. The offense looked great for the Cowboys.
Trade him.
The offense looked awesome.
Dude, Dallas looks, their offense is legit as
Their
I've
offense
ever
looked
seen.
awesome.
Their offense is as good as any in the league, and as good as Kansas City. They're as good as the Bills. They're as good as any in the league.
I also have to tip my hat to Kellen Moore. That last play to get that
awesome.
first down
That was an awesome play call.
to seal the game. Did you see it, or do you remember it? The
was
play.
It was a triple option.
So
essentially.
pretty much, Dak was under center, and
It was So it was like
it was Zeke. It was an I
it was
formation.
a strong
Oh,
formation.
okay, yeah, I
Zeke
saw
was
it.
at fullback to
Zeke
the
pitched it.
left.
Yeah. And
And
so
he handed off strong and then pitched it to Tony
Yeah.
Pollard. Pretty cool play. It was a pretty cool play.
I mean, it was a good read on Zeke too to pitch the ball.
I can see the scenario happening now, guys. Cowboys have a really good season, make the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game, maybe 2 if they have a good year, right? They have a really good season, we'll say. And everyone comes for Kellen Moore to be their head coach now because he's a young offensive coordinator. And Jerry Jones is like, all right, see you, Kellen. All right, we got Mike McCarthy. And then they're just shitty the next year because they don't have Kellen Moore anymore.
I think he might be undershooting the Cowboys.
No, so I think they're.
I know you don't want to say it because you're a Cowboys fan, but I mean, a 3-0 team comes in there, and I mean, they handled them easy. That was never a game from the first quarter on, and I know that they tightened it up during the end.
It was
the game.
14-13 in the third quarter.
Yeah,
was?
The Cowboys game?
The game
I'm
was
watching it
14
right
to
here.
13. The game was 14-13, but I don't know.
There was like 3 picks or 2 picks.
The second half, the third quarter, the
Okay.
Cowboys dominated. They just
Sam
came out.
Darnold threw 2 picks.
They came out and dominated. Threw 2 picks to Trayvon Diggs, who has 5 interceptions in the first 4 games. Trayvon Diggs is balling right now. He's playing awesome. And it's not just like, not always picks. A lot of times guys with a lot of picks, they'll get a lot of gimme picks where, it'll be kind of towards the end of the game, they'll toss up like a Hail Mary and he'll catch it, right? Or they'll make a terrible throw across the middle and be wide open playing safety, basically. But he has 2 picks this year where he is straight up just like made an insane play. The Chargers game, he had the diving pick across the middle to start the game. They threw it to Keenan Allen. And he was just straight up laid out across the middle. 2 hands caught it. And then this game, one of his picks, his second one, he straight up jumped the route. It was a little button hook, a little curl route to get a first down. He jumped the shit out of it, dove, and intercepted the curl route. It was fucking sick. So he's playing awesome. And I just want to say the last 2 touchdowns, the Panthers scored at the end of the game. They scored 2 touchdowns and kind of end the game off to make it like somewhat close, even though the game was kind of out of reach. Both those times they benched Trayvon Diggs for no reason whatsoever. They said he wasn't hurt. They said it was load management essentially.
Rest.
Yeah. And then DJ Moore, the guy who is guarding, scores 2 touchdowns immediately after they bench him. So I do think that's a little, it sketched me out at first, but it worked out. So
Yeah. DJ Moore, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. But I just
Not
want to
on
make a
Trayvon
comment.
Diggs,
So you and I just said Bengals primetime, scary. None of us said playoffs in either of our sentences. 3-1 team. 3-1 team. Cowboys, we're going to win 2 playoff games.
No. I said I can see a scenario where that gets me all hyped up. Where they're like, oh, they have a great season, one of their best seasons in a while. They somehow win 2 playoff games, and then they just let Kellen Moore go.
I think they've looked good. The only loss they had was a game that they probably could have easily won against the reigning
Who are they?
champions.
Oh yeah, the Bucks.
Lost to the Bucks and
Yeah.
by 1 point.
Yeah.
In week 1. And I mean, anything can happen in week 1, right? You haven't built your chemistry yet. Your coach hasn't figured out your team and your strengths and
They've been
weaknesses.
playing really well. I've been surprised how well the defense is playing. Like, obviously, Dan Quinn's first year, they've been playing way better than they were in the past.
What did they use their first 6 picks on defensive
Yeah,
guys?
basically.
Yeah. So.
But, like, obviously, Trayvon Diggs getting 5 picks in 4 games definitely helps your defense out a lot. Like, if you can create turnovers, it helps your defense out a lot.
You could use them up.
I just don't. Yeah, I know. I just don't think that he can't keep that up. He's pacing for like 25 picks or something crazy. That's not going to happen, obviously. But
Second year deal.
Yeah, I know.
Max contract for.
I know. What they need to do is they need to keep getting pressure. Their defensive lines played really good this year, especially rushing the quarterback. Played really good yesterday. Panthers O line kind of sucked last game, really bad. They need to keep getting pressure. Randy Gregory has looked really good. Micah Parsons is a monster as a rookie. And they don't even have their best pass rusher. DeMarcus Lawrence is out for at least another 5 weeks. So looking up for the Cowboys so far. They should win this division. If they don't win this division now, that's going to be an all-time choke job because their division looks terrible.
Yeah.
So
I just want to say I was thinking about this the other day, and tell me if you guys agree with this. The Cowboys and the Bengals are essentially the same team. Like, Cowboys went out, spent their first 6 picks on defensive guys. Mm-hmm. Bengals spent $230 million on their defensive line. Brought in Eli Apple. They have Von Bell in their secondary. Logan Wilson, he's decent, second-year guy. Offensive line's trash, but all their skill guys on offense are great. Same with Cowboys. Cowboys defense got better last year. Their skill guys are great, but their offensive line still needs some work.
So their offensive line's played really good this year.
They have played good, but
I think
would you consider them like
they're healthy. Their offensive line's good.
Yeah.
The problem was they were bad last year because all their starters got hurt.
Right.
They have 2 All-Pros in the offensive line right now. And then they have another guy who's a Pro Bowler who got suspended because he tried to bribe a tester, which kind of sucks.
The Bengals, in theory, have 4 first-round draft picks at their...
Yeah, you can say their first round, but they made All-Pro. They have 2 guys that have made All-Pro.
Well, they're all young. Well, besides Riley Reed.
That'd be the only caveat. So the Cowboys have a good offensive line when healthy, but if the problem is, historically, the last 3 years, they haven't stayed healthy. So there's a good chance they get fucking hurt again, which I'm really hoping they don't.
Right. No, I'm not talking bad about the Bengals. It's just like looking at the team as a whole. Mm-hmm. The offensive line for the Cowboys is like one of the weakest links. Not saying they're bad, but same with the Bengals. Like one of their bad.
I still think their defense is worse than their offensive line at this
Really?
point. I think they're just playing really well. I'm really hoping that they continue to play well. If they can do it for against some more good teams,
Surprise me.
I'll be very happy with it.
What do you think?
Their defense is like
I would rank the Bengals defense above the Dallas defense. I would rank their skilled players are all awesome. Joe Burrow, Zeke, and then Amari Cooper. Who else you got? CeeDee Lamb.
You mean Dak
Mark
Prescott?
Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. They have
I would say
Gallup's hurt right
Dak
now.
Prescott probably above Joe Burrow at the moment. I mean, he's been playing awesome. So they look good. I would definitely give the offensive to Dallas, defensive to Bengals. And I don't know, Bengals got to show it to me to a good team, and then I'll be happy.
Special teams to the Bengals because we got the best fucking kicker in the league.
Measuring stick this week. Let's go.
Realistic game.
That's awesome.
Either way, Cowboys played awesome. I'm happy. Panthers need CMC back.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I drafted Chuba Hubbard.
All right. Titans, Jets.
All right.
Let's talk about it. Jake's pick.
Hold on. We got to read the first line. Zach, LOL at Jake.
I mean, again,
also,
it was pretty funny.
I said that there's no way this would happen. I will also say that Griff said that there's no way this would happen.
I did too.
As well in the same conversation. So laugh at Griff too.
I didn't pick him, though. I didn't pick him.
But can we
You
just
didn't
say,
pick him because I picked him.
can we just say, I said this in our group message, but Randy Bullock continues to troll and haunt Bengals fan no matter what fucking jersey he's wearing, dude.
The legend of Fat
I mean,
Randy continues.
To be honest, it shouldn't even have came down to the field goal. How much better should the Titans be? Dude,
well-
but what I am is obviously the Titans are overrated. I mean,
No, stop. You take a 3-headed dragon, you cut 2 heads off of it. How do you think it's going to react?
What I will say, though, okay.
Dude.
What I will
They didn't
say,
have
obviously,
Julio
they're
Jones
missing,
or A.J.
they're missing
Brown.
their top 2 receivers, which definitely hurts. They're playing a terrible team. They should have won still. Their defense is bad. That's the reason. Their defense is just not good. Their defense is.
I mean, they came in Super Bowl contenders. That's what that's what was labeled on their fucking foreheads walking into this year, and they've looked nothing like it during any of these games. The first 4 games,
Yeah.
Super Bowl contenders. That's what I was imagining was going to show up.
Yeah.
Super Bowl contender versus Jets. The Jets, right?
Yeah, their defense is bad.
There should be no way you can say receiver this, receiver that. No way that the Jets should beat them, but they did. NFL, I know that the vast differences between a good team and a bad team in NFL is a lot closer than what people would think, but still.
How many people on the roster, Jake? NFL roster?
52?
53?
53?
Well, I mean, 52 if you have Randy Bullock on your fucking team because he's just a waste of space sometimes. He didn't deserve that. But, dude, I felt so bad for you when I saw Randy Bullock miss that kick. I mean,
the best case scenario was a tie, though.
Right.
So.
But, I mean, I agree with you. You have the Titans coming in, Super Bowl contenders labeled on their forehead. You know, the Jets, Zach Wilson's not looking good. I mean, even with the Jets throwing their 22-man team out there.
Yeah, you're right. I will say,
I don't know.
I heard on a podcast, Zach Wilson pacing 4 picks 3 weeks ago, 2 picks last week, and now only 1 pick against the Titans. He's cut him in half every week.
He's going to theoretically
he's figuring it out.
Half a pick next week. Theoretically, he can never get to 0 picks a game, though. Right? He's always going to keep cutting his number in half and never get to 0.
So it's like a parabola.
Doesn't make any sense because you can't throw half a pick.
I know, it's a joke. But, he did make that deep-ass throw. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it was awesome. It was an awesome throw. He basically, he looked like, I hate to say it, but he looked like what Aaron Rodgers did to the Cowboys or does to the Cowboys on, like, repeat in my mind, where he just rolls out, gets away from the sack, runs out wide, right arm on the football, left arm just kind of directing guys, and then just chucks it 60 yards and on stride and hit a dude for a touchdown.
He's Aaron Rodgers?
It was an awesome throw.
Early take?
It was a fucking
Zach
awesome
Wilson?
throw. No,
Zach
he's
Wilson
not Aaron
next
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers?
I'm
Zach
just
Wilson
saying
equals Aaron Rodgers?
that throw
Griffin
right
Wyman?
there, that throw he made right there is the reason that the
screenshot
Jets,
of you and then
that
quote that
throw
underneath it.
right there is the reason the Jets took
Post
him
it.
number 2 overall. I don't know yet if he's going to end up being a star or be a stud in the NFL, but that throw is the reason they drafted him, is because he can make throws like that. It was ridiculous. You know, just sitting there directing dudes in stride, 60-yard touchdown is ridiculous. So, awesome throw. Titans defense sucks.
Yeah, I guess that's the key takeaway from that game.
Titans defense sucks. So
Titans
now
2-2.
They're going to have to show it to me. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be picking them as my bets anymore. I'll tell you that. They
stay
burned me
away
once.
from the Titans.
I think they got a decent,
But
easy game this
listen,
week as well.
Jake,
and I was
listen.
like, I ain't doing it. I ain't fucking doing it.
Listen, AFC South. Okay, you ready? You got the Texans,
Yeah.
the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans.
Yeah.
If the Titans don't come out of that fucking division,
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the
Then-
Titans or Colts, right? I don't think it's either of the two.
Colts are 0-3, aren't they?
They won. They're 1-3 now.
1-3?
Yeah. Colts have played some decent teams, but not great. I mean, they lost to the Titans already.
got-
the Titans already beat the Colts.
They got Timmy 2 sprains.
I mean, one game is
quarterback.
not that far away from 2 games.
No, I agree.
I'll say that.
It's close. Really early.
I'll say that. But yeah, I would definitely pick the Titans out of that. But they don't look like Super Bowl contenders. I'll say that.
All right. So next game, Rams Cardinals. I was watching the game with our roommate Jackson, who's a big Rams fan. He was sad. He was in sad boy hours totally the whole time because it just never felt like the Rams even had any footing in this game, like at all.
Super Bowl contender Rams
Yeah,
versus
it was
the Cardinals.
It was from start to finish. The
disrespect
Rams
Matt
came
Stafford.
out. The Rams came out opening drive, scored they drove all the way down. I think they kicked a field goal to start it out, maybe. And then whenever the Cardinals scored the first touchdown, took the lead, they were wire to wire after that. They didn't give up the lead, and it just felt like the Rams were never in it. When they finally put some drives together at the end of the game, it was like way too little, too late. So,
I mean, I wouldn't sleep on the Cardinals. I think that they have a pretty good team, pretty good defense. My boy J.J. Watt over there. My boy A.J. Green on the other side.
their offense
but
can score with the best of them. The Cardinals' offense has been ridiculous.
don't
this year.
sleep on Matt Stafford. Don't sleep on
I'm
him.
not sleeping on Matt Stafford.
I mean,
he's had a really good year so far.
That's all I hear right now is Matt Stafford's trash. You know,
I didn't.
sleeping
When
on-
have I said that this year, Zach?
I'm
When have I
joking.
I
said
took
that?
Griffin. I said for some reason, like I'm high on Sean McVay. Like for some reason, I just see Sean McVay over there, like folding his hands, like, oh, it's all going according to
Yeah, I know.
plan. We'll see
could
these
be.
boys later this year. Boy.
I will say though, just you know,
evil mastermind.
plastic table boy who's never played a day of quarterback criticism of a professional quarterback, right? He didn't play that great, really ruined the game. I mean, he played better in the second half. The first half, he was not good. He threw a touchdown pass, but he missed like a ton of throws. I was sitting there just like, every time I'd look up, it was just like I was looking over at Jackson going, God damn it, Stafford. Because he's like missing throws he just doesn't miss. You know what I mean? Like you were watching him all year, just hit these like insane, because he's got one of the strongest arms in the NFL. Just insane on the run, like just bullet pass right in there, and he was just hitting guys in the money. And then this game, there was like a bunch of them he just overthrowing, underthrowing. It was uncharacteristic of him.
It's only one game. All right.
No, it is. People have bad games. Look at Aaron Rodgers' first game of the season. It's absolutely
got
awful.
thumped by the fraud Saints.
Saints.
I'm coming out and saying that the Saints are frauds.
We can get into that in a minute if you want. But so also, I want to go to the other side. Kyler Murray's insane. Sometimes he just looks unfair. Like, he literally is the definition of a video game character. There's times
pretty
where
good.
Aaron Donald, like, right up the middle, just complete bull rushes the center, pushes him out of the way like it's nothing, right up the middle, hands up, right about the Kyler Murray, just like one step left, right, and then leaves Aaron Donald in the dust. And he's like, best defensive player in the NFL, maybe the best player in the NFL.
Isn't it crazy that Aaron Donald and Kyler Murray are like the same height, but one's just a piece of muscle?
A little bit different. Aaron Donald's 6'1", Kyler Murray's like 5'9", so.
I thought Aaron Donald was 5'10".
No, he's 6'1". He's still short. That's short for a D tackle. He's like 6'1".
You're lying.
Swear to God. I mean, look at D tackles. They're like 6'4" and up, but he's like 6'1". He's not that short. He's still short for his position though.
So takeaways from Rams Cardinals, I would say both of them some serious contenders for this year. Even though the Cardinals seem like they handled them pretty easily, I don't think it's going to be that way.
No, I don't think so
in
either.
the future. I think this race is going to tighten up, and it's going to be a serious little competition they got going
I
out
think
there.
Sean McVay's too good of a head coach to not be there like at the end of the year to win the division. And then also, I'm still not sold on the Cardinals defense. I think they have some good players who can play really well, but they still haven't put together like a full game. They look like dominant.
I mean, holding the Rams to 20 is still a pretty good game.
Yeah, they almost had a second pick on Stafford, and I can't remember who it was. It was I don't remember who. Oh, it was Isaiah Simmons, who's going to be a stud. He's a second year player, but they like got all this pressure on him. And Stafford kind of got bailed out by the little NFL slap your helmet rule. You know they do where they barely like, slap him in the helmet and they call roughing the passer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they did that, but Stafford just threw a pass that literally he threw it. I was like, why would you throw that? Like at that point, you got to take the sack. He just chucked up a ball that was literally like wobbling the whole way, duck just right to like no one. It was like easily picked off. And literally, like I saw him like they threw the flag. He saw the flag, and he was just like, whew. Like that was. I'm glad I got that flag. That was bad. So. Either way, I think both teams will be there for the division at the end of the year. I don't see one of them running away with it. They're both really good teams.
I mean, they got to play each other again. So,
oh yeah, both really good teams. So, I had Chiefs Eagles on here. Mainly just say Tyreek Hill is unreal. Fantasy wise, he had like 42 fantasy points.
Fast.
He was just outrunning everybody. Patrick Mahomes had like 5 touchdowns. Like this is like the Chiefs that we were thought. The defense still didn't play great. From an offense that did not look very good against the Cowboys, and then they go into the Chiefs and still score like 30-something on them. But
do you think there's merit to the high-powered offense, bad defense kind of vibe?
yeah, I think there is.
I mean,
Seriously.
you got Dallas out there scoring tons of points, giving up a lot of points. You got Arizona Cardinals scoring a bunch of points, giving up a lot of points. And then now here we have the Chiefs scoring a lot of points.
I think there is. I think there's like different levels of defense. There's good defenses that also have really good offenses, but the defenses look worse in points category because they're on the field way more. Because especially if their offense scores 40-plus points, right? And then there's also
instead of having to stop like 8 drives that the Titans defense might have to drive,
I
they have
100%
to stop
agree with
14 drives.
100% agree with that.
Right.
And there's also defense that are just shut down though. No matter what, they're going to be like insane, right? Because I mean, granted to Zach's argument, back to the old Seahawks team, that offense was still pretty good, and they would get a lot of drives, but the defense would still only give up like 10 points. They were just freaking good. You know what I mean? So there's different levels to stuff like that. But I also saw Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, like tried to field goal the Chiefs to death, which just won't work. They were just like kicking field goal, kick field goal, kick field goal. Like they were not aggressive on fourth down. They were losing in the game by 2 scores in like the third quarter. And then they went to, which I can see the argument for it, right? Kicking the field goal there and taking your points, and maybe you can get some stops on them. But they weren't stopping the Chiefs at all. They were scoring like almost every drive, right? And he kicked a field goal on 4th and 2 on the 2-yard line, 4th and goal, 2 yards to the end zone. You kick the field goal. Like maybe we can get another stop. We can get a stop this time and kick another field goal.
That's bad coaching.
Time. Right.
Did you see that touchdown pass that Mahomes threw to Clyde? It was like an underhand.
Yeah, it was the
toss.
shovel pass.
Yeah.
It was the softball toss.
Yeah,
he like straight up like softball tossed it.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. So
I mean, I wouldn't really say the Chiefs are back. I mean, the Eagles aren't very good.
No.
So, but it does look good, 2-2 on the Chiefs. Hopefully they can make a comeback.
I think you'd rather have the Chiefs score 42 on the Eagles than not score 42 on the Eagles, though. Right?
I mean, right.
Especially after losing a couple.
I think that the AFC West is going to be pretty good this year. Yeah. I mean, this depends on how the Broncos play. I know that we called them frauds last week, but I mean, the Chargers could definitely sneak in there, and the Raiders, they're pretty good. Pretty good. All right, moving on. Bills, Texans.
I want to put this one on there because the Bills are, after that opening game where they somehow lost the Steelers that we were all surprised about, they've been unreal since then. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen threw 2 touchdowns this game and like only scored twice, and they won 40-0. Like that's
40
ridiculous.
to nothing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And the NFL.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Mitch Trubisky got in for a touchdown. Oh, Mitch scored. I have a stat for you. So the last 3 games, ever since they lost to the Steelers week 1, the Steelers, the Bills have now outscored the last 3 games, 3 teams, 118-21.
Wow.
118-21. Back-to-back shutouts, I'm pretty sure.
In the NFL.
Yes, that's ridiculous.
Like unheard of, pretty much.
And what's crazy is this game, like the game before Allen had like 4 or 5 touchdowns or whatever it was. This game, they scored 40-0. They only had to, like, I only got to score twice. We're good. You know.
I wonder how common it is
for the backup end,
to get
good.
2 shutouts in a year.
Yeah.
Probably not very
Exactly. Not very common.
Unless you have like the lowest strength of schedule to where you just play a bunch of shit teams.
2 shutouts in the. I mean, I guess NFL has been around for so long that all the stats are kind of skewed. Like if you go back far enough to make. Well, a team long ago had 5 shutouts, you know.
Well,
they won 6 games, 9-0, you know.
But they have like Super Bowl era stats.
No, you're right. They have like the modern football era. They go in eras. They have like the Gridiron era, which they have like do all these different names for them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what they did with the NFL 100, right? And that's what they do with Hall of Fame voting. They vote on you in the Hall of Fame based on your era you played in. Because you can look at guys like back in the 40s that made the Hall of Fame, and you're like, why the fuck is this guy in the Hall of Fame? And you know, so and so's not. This guy had like 50 career passing touchdowns, and he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Versus my guy over here has like 300. Well, it's because the guy at 300 isn't comparing to the guys now. You know what I mean? Right. So I agree with that.
Makes sense.
So moving on then, Seahawks Niners. I had this game on there because Seahawks were coming after a letdown game after blowing a big lead to the Titans, who now we kind of agree maybe fraudulent, right?
I don't know if they're
we'll see about that. But anyway, the Seahawks flipped it up on us, boys. They went complete opposite of what we've been going for the first 3 weeks. Remember I mentioned like 60-something points in the first half and like only 13 in the second half? Mm-hmm. They only scored once in the first half and scored like 3 times in the second half. Damn. They just decided to say, hey, fuck Griffin, we're going to do the opposite of what he said. So it was...
You think Wilson listens to this?
I mean, Burrow listens. Now Wilson, McPherson listens too.
So.
Nick Castellano listens too.
Yeah.
McPherson was like 8 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Damn, I need to miss one.
You get it off my chest.
Jimmy G got hurt. They threw Trey Lance in. There's a chance that Trey Lance might start the rest of the season. We'll see. He's played pretty decent. I mean, he hasn't played like phenomenal, but he's played pretty decent when he's been in. I know he's got a high quarterback rating, but that's also a little inflated because they put him in for 2 passes this year before he was a starter, and he went through 2 touchdowns on them. So that's really inflated when you got 2 touchdown passes on 2 attempts, you know. Russell Wilson played awesome. He made a couple sick plays, had a rushing touchdown that he just kind of just said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And then that passing touchdown was beautiful. So I even got the thumbs up from Zach. Sick play. He agreed.
I did.
He agreed. So, the Seahawks get a win. I'm still not sold on their defense. I think their defense sucks too. I think they're similar to the Titans when the Titans' offense is healthy. I think they have a really good offense, and I think their defense sucks.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And then Bears-Lions, Justin Fields had a good game. All the Bears fans want him to start. Matt Nagy said same thing he's been saying, though. Andy Dalton's the starter and when he's healthy. So,
yeah.
Who knows?
I think that for week 5, Matt Nagy said that Andy Dalton's going to start.
If he's healthy, he says he's starting. So,
well, I think that like he's good now, or like they cleared medical.
If the doctors clear him, he's going to start.
Yeah.
That's what Matt Nagy said. Bears fans are pissed because obviously they're playing the Lions, which is pretty much a lot easier opponent than they've been playing. Right. But at the same time, he had a really good game. You know, people can't deny that after coming off. It's the same thing I've always said. Would you people are like, oh yeah, but he played the Lions. Like, oh yeah, but would you rather have him have a bad game against the Lions? Like, at least he had a good game.
Right.
He made a deep throw to Darnell Mooney, which was awesome. That's the thing. The reason the Bears fans want him to start is they all said that Andy Dalton would have made that throw. It was like a 60-yard bomb downfield, right on dot with Darnell Mooney. And I believe that in this game, they attempted and completed more 20-yard passing plays, like in the air 20-yard passing plays than Dalton even attempted all season. So that's the reason the Bears fans want him to start.
The Bears fans are stupid.
That's the reason the Bears. I'm just telling you. No, I'm just telling you.
He's played awful.
The Bears fans want to.
I think Bears fans are on something, dude. I know that they don't want Andy, and Andy's not the future. I would agree with them that Andy's not the future.
Yeah, I agree there.
And that Justin Fields is probably the future. But if you want to win now, if you want to win this season, Justin Fields is not your answer.
Well,
think about
that's what
season completion.
That's what the Bears fans are saying.
Think about it when the Bengals drafted Joe Burrow. Like, if we would have kept Dalton, how mad do you think that we would have been if we were 0-6 and they were like, yeah, Burrow's on the bench? Like, I'd be in the same boat.
Well,
I agree. I love Andy, but
what I'm saying is the Bears fans aren't disagreeing that like maybe Andy Dalton's a better quarterback than him right now. He's definitely played better as far as you look at the season stats, right? I think they're more so saying is what's the point of playing this guy if we're just crutching him for a year that we're going to win maybe 6 games?
Because they're 2-2. They're in it. They're 2-2.
You think the Bears are in it?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Honest opinion, do you think the Bears are in it? Do you think they're going to be in it for a playoff spot in that division?
Potentially. Who's in their division? Let's check
Packers.
this
They have
out.
the Packers
The
and
Packers.
the Vikings. Yeah, dude. I mean, they only have to compete against the Packers. The Vikings are trash.
Only the Packers?
Yeah.
Packers are going to win a ton of games this year.
Okay, well, the Bears win. They split it 1-1, and then the
Bears.
Bears.
The only way the Bears make the playoffs is if they win a wild card game.
Possible.
It's possible.
Why not?
I don't think it happens.
I don't know. I mean, they're 2-2. Yeah, I'd
not
say if
think
they
it
lose the
happens.
next 3 games or something, and there's no hope of them making the playoffs, fuck it. Put Justin Fields in. Let him learn. But if you want to make the playoffs this year, Justin Fields ain't taking you there. I don't care what you say.
I don't think either quarterback's taking them in the playoffs this year. But what the point I'm
disagree.
making,
Well, they haven't
and the
lost
Bears
yet,
fans are
so
making,
they're
they
not
have
out
lost.
of it, right? Not that they haven't lost, but they're not out of it. They're not.
I
they haven't
mean,
lost.
yeah,
in
I
the
guess you can
season.
technically say they're not out of it. I mean, you can technically
Yeah.
say the Jets aren't out of it. They're 1-3. So
The Jets are out of it.
I mean,
Have you
I
seen
think
them
the
play?
Jets, I think the Jets are out of it, similar to the Bears.
Plus, they got to compete versus the
you're-
Bills, the Dolphins, and the Patriots.
The point I'm going back around to, right, is they're saying that, why we would start this guy when he's not going to be our future quarterback. Put the future quarterback in now. Let him learn now. We're not doing shit this year. That's the way the Bears fans are looking at it. And he did have a really good game. His stats look terrible though because he was absolutely god awful against the Cleveland Browns.
He didn't have that
terrible.
good of a game.
He played,
200 yards, interception.
it's the throws that he made. That's what they were salivating
Oh, my
over.
God.
He made good throws. Do you watch the game? I watched
I
the
didn't
game.
watch the game, but 209 yards
He
and a
made,
pick.
he
now he's
made
pulling
some-
out
he
game
made some
film.
good throws.
Doesn't
I'm just
impress
saying
me.
he made a lot. He played a lot better than Cleveland, or than he played in the Cleveland game. And then the throws that he made, they wouldn't even attempt those with Andy Dalton. That's what the Bears fans have been throwing out there. That's what I'm saying.
He only attempted 17 passes. That's terrible.
That's all he had to do. I mean, to be fair, what's his name? Who also got hurt? Montgomery had an awesome game.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's all right because he
Montgomery
got
did have
carted
an
off.
awesome game.
But I don't think he tore his ACL. But
106 yards,
there
2
was,
touchdowns.
I mean, it's telling of like the offense. Like it's different, right? They attempted and completed more 20-yard passes than they ever attempted with Andy Dalton this season in one game.
Yeah, but we've said that before. Justin Fields is more athletic, but Andy Dalton's more game smart. And
He is definitely more game smart. I agree with that.
So when Justin Fields can scramble and Andy Dalton can't, that's probably why they're like, all right, whoever.
One of the things too,
Go along.
Matt Nagy didn't call plays this week.
yeah,
then they
but
won.
did you hear?
He
said-
didn't admit, but he like
Yeah.
winked. I didn't call plays.
Yeah, but he pretty much made it known, like, I'm the fucking head coach of this bitch. Like,
Yeah.
I call the plays around here. And I was like, what a bitch move, dude.
Yeah.
Like, be a leader.
Matt Nagy's an idiot. So
Yeah.
either
All
way,
right, I'm gonna be transparent though. I do like Justin Fields. I just do not like the Bears fans, and I'd like Andy Dalton.
yeah. No, obviously you like.
That's
Andy
where
Dalton.
my takes come from. I
Personally,
like Andy.
you guys-
I don't like Bears fans, but I also
You
somewhat
guys
like Justin.
think I hate Andy Dalton. I was on the train when the dumbass Bengal fans thought he was the reason they were losing. I was like, he's not the reason they're losing. But if I was a Bears fan, and I think you guys can say you'd do the opposite, but if you guys are Bears fans, you'd be wanting Justin Fields to start. You want your rookie quarterback you draft in the first round to start.
mean,
I'm an Andy Dalton fan,
But Dalton
what
really
don't you understand?
Dalton really hasn't played that bad.
No,
he just got
hasn't.
hurt. I mean,
but you can also make the argument that would he have done better, that much better than Justin Fields against the Browns? Justin Fields played bad. He played absolutely god awful.
10 sacks, that's pretty bad.
I know.
I think Dalton would have been smarter to get rid of the ball or do something to avoid sacks.
I mean, yeah,
he
you
had
can
to
make
have
that
done
argument.
better.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
there's
had to have
no
done
way.
way
You
better.
make that
He
argument,
could have
but-
at least had more than one net yard.
There's
Come on, Griffin. Come on,
There's
Griffin.
definitely some of those plays though that I'm like, there's no way Andy Dalton even gets out of the pocket to throw it away. Like seriously, like if they were on him so quick.
That's when you drop it down to a check down, baby.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
I
there
do
was
wanna
no check
say-
down. I mean, it wouldn't be surprised if Matt Nagy's like, oh, you don't need a check down. You're Justin Fields. You're fast, right?
I just want to say how bad of an organization the Detroit Lions are, because let's just paint a picture in your head. Jared Goff, Super Bowl appearance, correct? Yeah, with a good
yeah,
team.
but he also had John McVay. So.
With a good team.
I agree.
Now he goes, pretty much Lions, Rams, swap quarterbacks, 0-4 on the Lions, and Matt Stafford 3-1 on the Rams. So, I mean, Sean McVay, pretty good, but
Lions are like
Lions are bad.
Lions
And
are a
it's
bad
also
franchise.
bad when your owner is on the field at halftime and gets fucking booed by all the fans.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
It's also
Did you see
bad
that?
when
I didn't see it, but I can imagine.
I mean, Mike Brown would get booed. If we went to the Super Bowl, Mike Brown would still get booed because he's trash.
it's also bad when like the second greatest player in the history of your franchise, and Calvin Johnson, behind Barry Sanders, like he like just hates the Lions and refuses to go back.
I mean,
there
the Bengals
because they-
are in the same
because
situation.
they like won't pay him.
Who?
Carson Palmer.
Oh yeah,
Who else was good? AJ probably don't like us very much.
I mean, he'd laugh.
shout out AJ though. Like you said, good touchdown catch last week. But
Resurrection.
yeah, Calvin Johnson like is still owed money by Detroit, and they just won't pay him.
Who won't pay him?
Detroit hasn't paid him like all his like contract deals.
Oh,
No,
what the hell?
I thought it was Calvin Johnson had to get back his money because he retired early.
So what it was
He had
was
to
they
get back like 1.3 or something.
well they had like they had guaranteed money.
Gonna scrap up 1.3 mil.
No, because the way I saw it was they had guaranteed money that they were supposed to pay him. They didn't pay him all his guaranteed money, and that they ended up retiring early. But because of the way the contract was signed, he was still owed that money.
We're gonna look
Either
it
way,
up.
we can look it up. Look at the details on it.
I am, but
I saw a thing is saying that he hasn't been paid. Maybe I read it wrong.
But hold on, well, I looked this up. Andrew Luck retires, and the coach just said, "Hey, you can keep the $30 whatever million we gave you." So that looks pretty bad on the Lions. Be like, "Hey, we want the whatever 1.3 million back, but Andrew Luck can keep $30 million." Like, that's bad.
That's a weird business decision. Just let him keep it. I know
I think
they're
they're hoping that he's going to come
Luck,
back. I think they're
right?
hoping like, oh, you can keep it in hopes it'll come
You
back
can
next
keep it.
year.
Don't feel obligated to come play, a couple games for us next year.
We got Jacoby Brissett starting and Carson Wentz with 2 ankle sprains.
Double ankle sprain. So I'm not going to read this whole article, but the thing says Calvin Johnson's beef with the Lions and his 1.6 million demand.
Yeah, so
I guess-
I swear they owed him money still that they just never paid him. That he was based on his contract was supposed to be paid out regardless if he retired or not.
It's very vague, but it does seem like the Lions owe him 1.8.
That's what I thought it was because he was enshrined in the Hall of Fame and he didn't thank anyone from the Lions because they still owed him money or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so-
except for Matt. I think he thanked Matt Stafford. I think it's the only person he thanked that was from the Lions organization.
All right, I didn't read this, but here we go. When Johnson retired in March of 2016, the Lions ordered that he repay 1.6 million of the signing bonus on the long-term extension he signed in 2012. Contractually, the Lions had the right to pursue getting the money back, but it was an extremely petty move.
Okay, maybe that's what it was then.
So,
So maybe they
he
technically
owes
could
the
have got the
Lions
money.
money.
Yeah.
well, he paid it back.
Oh, he did pay it back.
Yeah,
Okay.
but now Lions fans are mad because they have a curse on them because they haven't been good since then.
His fucking money back.
Just give him his fucking money back so we can be good.
In 50 years, they get a new owner. First thing on the to-do list, pay him his 1
Oh no, they'll get a owner before that. The Lions owner is pretty old.
So
Keep it in the family, Bengal style.
last game we go over here is Patriots Bucks. The homecoming, the return of the goat bowl between Belichick and Brady. It's a pretty boring game, not gonna lie. And there was only like bulk of the scoring happened in the last 4 minutes, which is kind of cool. But still, it was boring the entire game. Brady came out, no touchdown passes back in Foxborough, which I thought was kind of weird. Everyone was saying, "Oh, he'll still be fine." It was shitty weather. It was like a monsoon going on. But how many times have we seen Brady playing that and play awesome?
Florida boy now.
I know he's Florida boy now.
It's like, what the hell's this?
Came out, didn't throw any picks, but he didn't play well. It was just a lot of checkdowns and they were on the same page a lot. Ran the ball decently.
Going back, Andrew Luck was allowed to keep $12.8 million.
Jeez.
But the owner said that he left as much as $450 million on the table when he retired because if he would have played good, Jim Irsay said that he would have gave him a contract extension.
Jim Irsay. That's a crazy move. That's a crazy dude.
Yeah,
Jim Irsay's crazy.
Good.
Anyway,
we talking
Mac
about
Jones didn't play that bad. Mac Jones had a pretty decent game. Patriots Bucks. Mac Jones had a pretty decent game there. But either way, still a boring game. I think the most entertaining part was reading all the fans they talked to before the game.
That was fun.
It was funny. They
Yeah.
were saying oh yeah, I'm rooting for him. Then they had Schwartzy, who is a female. I saw actually, so I was wrong on that. I apologize, Schwartzy. Thought you were a dude. But she said that I want our friggin' linebackers to punish him and get some sacks. She goes, he was great for us, but he's not on our team anymore. I was like, that is a total masshole move. I want our friggin' linebacker to get some sacks.
So I have two questions for you. One, do you think that this was Bill Belichick's easiest or hardest week of game planning?
I'd say hardest one because
I
they're
would say
an
a hard
insanely good team, and it's the first time he's ever had to go against Tom Brady, and he's never had a game plan against Tom Brady.
But for 20 years, he made game plans for Tom Brady. Do you think that his game plan changed drastically when he went to the Bucks?
Hard game.
I think the last
I think
time,
it would be as
the way I'm
easiest.
looking at it is, I think the last
20
time,
years of game planning for one guy?
The last time the Patriots with Tom Brady had an offense as good as the Bucks offense was when they had Randy Moss. That was the last time that their offense was so good they were tops in the league. Because even if you look at Tom Brady's Super Bowl years, they were never a number one offense. Outside the year, he had 55 touchdowns and had Randy Moss catch 20 something of them. Their offense was insane that year. Other than that, like they were still a really good offense, top of the league, like higher in the league, but their defense is also really good. I think it's a completely different Bucks team. They just have weapons all over the place. So I think you have a game plan for the weapons, not just Tom Brady.
No, I agree, but like how Tom Brady thinks. Like you've worked with him for 20 years. Like you would think that you would know what he likes to do and what he doesn't like to do and what defenses make him uncomfortable.
I think regardless that if you coach Tom Brady for 20 years, it's not easy to game plan for this Bucks team.
Yeah,
especially when you have
like the team as a general. Yeah, like that's
especially
really
when you
hard.
have an inferior team too.
Right?
So,
I don't know.
I think it would have been tough regardless.
And two, I forget the guy's name, but when you have Drew Brees, who's the NBC announcer? What's his name?
Al Michaels. Chris Collinsworth?
No. It might have been Al Michaels. Who was on the field? You know what I'm talking about, the umbrella thing that everybody was talking about.
Oh, that's Rodney
today?
Harrison.
Rodney Harrison.
He's played for the Patriots.
Was that the guy who wasn't holding his umbrella?
Yeah, that's Rodney Harrison.
Well, I knew who the other three fucking people were, but I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Hold your own fucking umbrella, dude.
He's
Bitch
Patriots Hall of Famer. He won multiple Super Bowls.
Maybe he
with Tom
should
Brady,
have done a little better in his career.
So I want to point out, too, Tom Brady breaks the all-time passing yards record, broke Drew Brees' record, broke Drew Brees on the field with that. Just want to say, also played 3 extra seasons to break Drew Brees' passing record. Yeah. Just saying. Either way, Tom Brady's the GOAT. I think we all agree with that, right? He's fucking awesome. So, cool. But other than that, I think that's all we got for NFL.
I want to go back to the game planning. I feel like you're thinking of Tom Brady's strengths and weaknesses. Other than sprinting, I don't know what Tom Brady's weakness is, right?
I mean, he has to have a weakness.
Like, I think he's just so good at you can't fool him. Like, I feel like, how do you fool him on defense? He's seen every look there is to see.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is, like, you would think Bill Belichick would know. Tom Brady gets uncomfortable when he sees this look on defense.
He has to sprint.
And he does, like when he sees this defense, he does well. Like that's what I'm trying to say is like obviously the Bucks have a way better team than what the Patriots have, but Bill Belichick knows Tom Brady's strengths and weaknesses like the back of his hand. That's what I'm trying to say is like I thought it would have been the easiest week for him to game plan. Like even the announcer said I think that they'd ran like 8 DBs for most of the game because Tom Brady knows like I can't get it past 8 DBs. Like. Yeah. Even if there's nobody rushing me, like
so that makes sense why
he didn't score a lot.
That makes sense why Ronald Jones had like a 20-something yard touchdown run. Then they're playing 8 DBs out there, just handing it off. Either way, Pats won the game. It was close. Vegas made a lot of money on that game because I know a lot. Like me, it was my don't think about it bet. I was thinking that 6.5 points, it's gonna win by a touchdown. They can do that. Didn't know it was going to be a freaking monsoon. All these Florida boys are going to go play in a monsoon. You
got to look up the weather, dude.
I know. I guess I'm not
Antonio
a handicap.
Brown didn't.
Come on.
Not a good handicapper.
You're going to be on that.
All right, Griff, what's your top 10 quarterbacks?
So we're moving to our top 10 quarterbacks. Big week of football. I got the current moves. I just got to say, as always, this list has come out before the Monday night game. So there are a couple people, mainly the Monday night quarterbacks that I had the last 2 weeks, have both dropped off the list because both the Monday night quarterbacks were on the list. So the people that have been dropped from the list, Justin Herbert, who was at 10, Derek Carr, who was at like 8, I believe, they've dropped off. They haven't played their Monday night game yet. They can easily be put back on the list, right? So number 10, we've got a first-timer addition to the list.
Yes, it's Joe.
Is it Joe?
It's
Joe
Burrow.
Joe's on the list. Joe Burrow at number 10. Had a big game. I got to give him credit.
I think I had an influence on this.
As
soon as I came home,
he was trying to get him on the list. And originally he was no. I had him just off the list, but then I added up and realized I only had 9 quarterbacks. I was like, oh, well, Joe Burrow's my next man on the list.
So he was just a scrub fill-in guy?
He's a fill-in.
Either way,
number 10
Joe Burrow's on the list. Then at number 9, we have someone who did not move from last week, stayed exactly the same. And it's not like he played bad. It was just he just didn't play great to move up. He only had 2 touchdowns. But Aaron Rodgers, one other game, 3-1. 2 touchdowns, like 200-something yards. Just didn't need to play great, right?
Right.
So stays right at number 9. Would be a lot higher on the list if he didn't shit the bed week 1. So number 8, moved down 3 spots. Who did have a bad game? Was rooting for him, but played bad. Kirk Cousins down 3 spots, right? Still having good numbers on the year.
Why is he in the top 10?
He's been balling. He's been balling.
Yeah.
Look at his numbers.
But their team is trash.
Yeah, but he's been playing awesome. This is the quarterback rankings.
Go ahead.
Their team, I think, obviously, you have a team that's playing good. When your quarterback's playing good, you definitely get a bump up, too, to play better, right? But he's had a really good year. He's had a really bad week this
I just
week,
like to piss JT off.
Number 7, moved him down 3 spots. And, again, this is no fault of his team because his team is balled out. But he just, again, didn't have to do much to win. But Josh Allen. So Josh Allen's at number 7 now. Number 7. Damn. He moved down. He only had 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns and like 100-something yards or something like that. He just didn't have to do much. They put the
No
backups
respect
in
for
early.
a 40-0 shutout.
But
dude.
the backups played. The backups played more than he did that game. Backups played more than he did that game.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Number 6,
Fair enough.
up 5 spots. Top 5 in the league in yards. Completion, number 1 in completion percentage.
So biased.
Top 5 in touchdowns. I mean, number 6 is Dak Prescott.
Top 6
love it.
quarterback now.
And he's top 6 now.
He's
good.
playing pretty good.
He's playing awesome. He wasn't on the list last week, but that was also because he hadn't played the Monday night game yet. Balled out in that game, and he balled out in this game. 4 touchdowns this week. Again, like you look at all the major passing categories, he's like in the top 7 to top 5 range in
I
every
think he
single
went
one.
to Ball So Hard University.
Also hard university, just like
think
T
he might
Sizzle.
have.
Ball State.
Top 5.
T Sizzle didn't go to Ball State, by the way, but we were at Ball State and we called it Ball So Hard University.
Top 5, and then we'll get to the elite top 3.
Number 5. So down 3 spots. Still having one of the best seasons on the year, but I moved him down because he had no touchdowns this week. Did play in a monsoon, but Tom Brady's at number 5 now.
Oh, that's brutal.
I agree.
Brady at 5.
I agree.
No passing touchdowns. No
Yeah.
touchdowns scored.
Yeah.
He did not play very good.
Yeah. And even when he played the Rams, well, he didn't play bad against the Rams, but he didn't play great, and the Rams beat him. So down 3 spots to number 5. He went number 1, down to number 2, down to number 5 now. Number 4, still having a baller year. And he's turned around a lot, but had a bad week this week. I got Stafford down 3 spots to 4. So still early. Stafford easily could end up winning MVP this year too. He's played so good. So his numbers are still insane. It's just all these top 4 guys, all their numbers are so comparable in many ways. I couldn't. It was hard for me to pick, right? And I'll tell you why I picked certain players at certain spots, right?
All right. Here's the elite top 3.
Got number 3, Russell Wilson. Went up 3 spots. He went and moved down last week. Didn't play too great, especially in the second half. This week he flipped it, had an awesome game, and essentially was like most of their score in that game. So they wouldn't have won that game without him. He played awesome. Number 2. So here's we go. 2-1. Got your prediction. We've got 2 quarterbacks left. We got Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes. Who do you guys think is ranked 1 and 2?
Kyler Murray 1, Mahomes 2.
What do you think, Jake?
Patrick 1, Mahomes 2. Patrick has more INTs, has more touchdown passes, but I don't know. Kyler Murray has a couple of rushing. I don't know how many rushing is the problem.
What you got?
I'll go the opposite of Zach. I'll go with Mahomes.
So number 2. Number 2 on the list. The biggest mover of the week, Patrick Mahomes up 6 spots.
You suck.
So Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes.
it's just a rushing. I didn't know how many rushing touchdowns does Murray have.
I'd have to look. I think it's 4.
4?
I think he has 4. I think he has 2 less total touchdowns than Mahomes. But the reason I did it is because, like, I guess you can make the same argument for Mahomes that the team would be nothing without those 2 on their team, obviously. But like, Kyler Murray just looks like he's had so many games where just they're going to win. Like they have Kyler Murray, they're going to win this year. They're 4-0. They won every game. They beat a really good fucking team against a really good fucking defense. So that's why I gave him the number 1 nod. Shout out Mahomes, 5 touchdowns. He's leading the league in touchdowns this year, though. So passing touchdowns, that is. So
All right.
That's top 10.
The elite
Top
locks
10.
are in.
top 10.
Big Daddy's top 10. You got to don't think about it bet or
So my don't think about it bet is going to be our picks bet. So
All right.
we're giving the picks.
pick them.
So just so you guys know, for the pick 'em competition, we put up a poll on what you guys wanted to see as far as a punishment for the loser, and it's pretty unanimous that the McDonald's challenge won. So I can't remember the details of it, but it's 10,000 calories. It's going to suck for whoever loses. Right?
It's 4 large sodas,
4 large sodas.
2 10-piece nuggets,
Okay.
4 large fries,
Okay.
4 double quarter pounders with cheese.
That's going to be rough for whoever loses.
Yep.
So just recapping last week, we're all 1-1 now. So I lost week 1. They both won week 1. Then flipped last week. I won last week with my pick of the Chiefs, and then they both lost their picks. So everybody's 1-1. We also put the poll up for how you guys wanted to pick, and it was pretty much nose and nose the entire time. But at the end of the day, I don't do the math. I don't know how many people clicked on it, but it had to be within like 5 votes.
Well, I want to say Instagram screwed us on this poll because
Instagram was down for a while.
It was down all day.
But then also after it came back up, it still went up for the spread side afterwards. Like more people voted the spread. But the spread won, I think it was like 57 to 40 something. It couldn't have been more than 5 votes though. It was close. So
Yeah, it was pretty close.
we're gonna pick spreads, 1 game a week, same thing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little happy about it, right? I'm sure you guys can tell.
We're all tied 1-1.
Yeah, we're all tied 1-1, and I think it's gonna be even. So my pick of the week, right? I'm gonna go with I know they lost last week, but I really like the matchup, mainly because one team's defense sucks, I think. I've got the LA Rams minus 1.5 on the Seahawks. I think the Rams are going to win by more than 2 points, 2 or more points than the Seahawks. I don't think the Seahawks can win this game.
Okay.
I think their defense is too bad. Not to say Russ can't have a really good game. I think he will. I wouldn't be surprised if this is Russ' first pick of the season. Seriously, because I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing from behind the whole game and he's just chucking the ball, those picks. So
Nice.
that's my pick.
My pick is I have the Arizona Cardinals over the 49ers. Arizona's favored by 5.5. So,
By a touchdown. That's all you need.
Cardinals up by a touchdown.
Well, Griffin, you know I ain't no sucker.
Ain't no sucker.
I ain't taking no sucker's bet.
Taking the sucker's bet.
I ain't taking no sucker's bet. I'm taking Dallas Cowboys -7 over New York Giants. I think the Dallas is legit. I got half their players on my fantasy team, so I'm rooting for them anyway.
I'm for it.
I'm going to be watching it because my roommate's a Dallas fan, so it's going to be
for
on the
it.
TV.
I thought about betting it.
I'm taking Dallas -7, and that's a
Just
pretty
so you
big
know.
the
So
gap to
if-
spread on.
So if they win by a touchdown, win by 7, that's a push, and you lose the bet. Just so you know, right?
Yep, and
Make sure you know.
I mean they lost to the Falcons.
That's risky, dude.
They lost to the
risky.
Falcons.
That's risky.
How
We'll
can
say-
you lose to the
You
Falcons?
taking a push?
Have you seen the Falcons?
I know, but are you
Hey,
taking
Jake,
a
lose to
push?
them?
Jake, one thing
What's a push?
a push means like you don't win, you get your money back. So I guess we can call it a tie. You want to do that? Would it be a tie then? Or would it be a loss?
I think it needs to be a loss.
It would be a loss. Okay,
What?
so yeah,
Yeah.
So they got to win by more. They got to win by 8 or more.
What happens if you're at the casino? You lose
Casino,
your
you
money?
just get your money back.
get your money
It's just
back.
like nothing
Oh,
happened.
then that's a tie.
No ties in this. This isn't soccer.
What? That's a tie.
So normally I would agree with you, Jake, but because I hate NFL ties so much, I'm gonna say no ties.
Yeah, no ties.
So no ties.
This is a win.
Okay, so either way,
Wins or losses.
one thing I do want to point out, which makes no sense. I told you the Amari Cooper stat, Jake, right? Where he just plays insane at home and then plays like buns on the road, and it makes no sense. We agreed, right?
Yes.
So Daniel Jones is the opposite. Daniel Jones at home is absolutely horrendous, like more turnovers than touchdowns. But then Daniel Jones on the road is like really freaking good. Like he's like would be more than viable to win on most NFL teams when he plays as a road quarterback. So that's the only thing that scares me about this Dallas game is that Daniel Jones for some reason throws a lot of touchdowns and doesn't turn the ball over on the road, but then he gets it home and just drops the football and says, "You guys take it." So
I ain't scared.
really weird, just really weird stat.
All right, boys, let's move on from the NFL.
All right.
Going on to college football. Give Jake his soap op.
Let's go. UC with the victory goes into Notre Dame, sells out their stadium, and kicks their ass. Sounds like you've heard this before. But UC, no lie, you can't get me this time because UC had more rushing yards. They had more passing yards.
Yeah.
They had more turnovers. They had more points. Absolutely walked in there and dominated
Dog walked them.
Notre Dame.
Dog walked them.
Top 5 or top 10 team, top 5 program. UC goes in, takes the W. The UC's old coach sitting there crying. Oh, I feel no pain for him. No pain.
Was he
Karma's
really
a bitch.
crying?
No.
Dog walked them.
He did look pretty fucking upset though.
So
I mean,
I have
that's
to
the
ask
biggest
you.
karma thing in the world. Like he leaves, UC's at the biggest bowl game of their probably
Was it the Sugar Bowl we left?
Sugar Bowl,
Yeah.
biggest bowl game of their program history. He leaves, comes back to Notre Dame, schedules UC, and UC kicks his ass. It's awesome.
Also pays him 1.2.
million. Yeah.
Paid UC $1.2 million to come kick their ass as a favorite. UC was favored 2.5 points coming into the game.
I gotta ask you the hard
On the road.
I gotta ask you the hard hitting questions, Jake. So you're talking a lot of shit right now, right? To be fair,
What's up?
pretty good win, awesome win, very good for the program.
I agree.
Probably one of the biggest wins in UC's history of their program, right? Would you
Right.
say that?
Yep.
So huge win, deserve to talk all the shit. I'm here for it. I'm a UC fan. I'm rooting for them to make the playoff. But because they go into South Bend, they go and dog walk them, the Golden Domers, touchdown Jesus watching, and you're talking all this shit. Do you hate Jesus, Jake?
That's it. Up there.
Do you
What?
hate Jesus?
Do I hate him?
Do you hate Jesus? You're talking a lot of shit about the Golden Domers, about probably like, touchdown Jesus sitting there watching. Probably the most religious school that
I
plays
hate
college
Notre
football.
Dame, yes. I hate Notre Dame.
Hey,
Do you hate Jesus?
Hey, listen.
Not only
listen.
did they beat our old head coach, but we beat our old defensive coordinator that they stole from us. So they know everything about this team and
Confirmed.
still could not beat
Hey,
this
heard it
team.
here first.
Everybody
Jake hates
knows.
Jesus.
Everybody knows. Indiana's a basketball school. Isn't that right, Griff?
Basketball State.
Yeah,
Oh,
basketball
yeah.
state. Yeah, I said school, basketball state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, confirmed here. Jake hates Jesus. So, awesome win for the Cats, though, for real. From
Cat.
one
Yeah,
Cats
my bad.
to the other Cats. Huge win for UK.
Hold on.
right?
I'm not done. I just
Oh,
got
you're
to
not
ask you a
done?
question.
Oh, no.
So you said you said UC can compete with the big dogs, right? They beat,
Yeah, that's a big dog.
they beat Notre Dame. I agree.
Notre Dame's a big
Indiana's trash. They've never been good in the Big Ten besides 1 year.
Notre
Okay.
Dame's a big dog.
How can you say that somebody can compete with a team when the last time that they played was 121 years ago?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was the last time UC and Notre Dame matched up, according to UC's website. It was 121 years ago.
I don't get
What
your
does that have to
logic.
do with anything?
I mean, just consistency.
What are you talking about?
I'm not talking programs. I'm talking about this year, 2020, 2021.
Dude, Zach, you are
No,
grasping at straws.
Cincinnati
man.
Bearcats.
I looked
top
up-
5 program. Let's go.
No, I agree. I looked up just to see when the last time Notre Dame and UC played, and it
You were
was
grasping at
legit.
straws there. I was like, what are you talking about?
I just had to laugh. 121 years ago, I was like, "Damn, they didn't play sooner than that."
So they're legit. UC's looking awesome.
UC better win
UC's
out now.
schedule's looking ahead. Does not look very tough. The Americans not having a great year. SMU's the only ranked team. They're probably going to have to beat SMU twice, which is not easy, but they should do it, right? They're definitely the best team in the league.
Was that
So,
like Southern Mississippi, Missouri,
It's Southern Methodist is in Texas.
Southern Methodist.
They better win,
they're-
or else you're never going to hear the end of it from him if they lose a game this year. So
well, yeah, he can talk all he wants. This team's awful.
Hey, I never said they were a powerhouse in the Big Ten. So
all right.
and their quarterback's out.
my team's played awful last week too.
But yes, the UK Cats, dude. I mean, good season so far. 5-0. Who would have guessed they would have been 5-0? Beat the Florida Gators, which is also a team I'd probably consider a top 5 program.
Yeah, they were
The Florida
ranked top
Gators?
10 earlier this year.
So coming in, beating them,
They almost
super
beat
impressive.
Bama.
Beat them.
Almost beat Bama.
They almost beat
Gators.
Bama.
Uh-oh.
So
UK coming after Bama?
I was gonna say that
Technically,
triangle theory that UK is better than Bama. So,
UK beats Florida by like 7 or whatever it was. I don't know, whatever the score
triangle
was.
theory.
But Bama only beats Florida by 2.
Yeah.
Technically, UK beats Bama by 5.
Yikes.
That's how football works.
That's how
Yikes.
football works. There's no way it'd work any differently.
Is Lexington screaming, "We want Bama now"?
Good shit for UK. It was awesome.
Okay, so UK drops down to what are they? 14, top 15.
Top 15 now. I don't think they were
Top
ranked,
15.
even ranked
No,
before
they
that,
weren't
were
ranked before that.
Yeah.
Super impressive. 5-0. They got they got anyone tough coming up? They got to play Georgia.
I mean, they're
I don't know,
probably
they're
they
in the
have to play.
SEC,
They're in the
yeah.
same conference as Georgia. They
So
have to play Georgia. I don't think they play Bama this year. I could be wrong.
That's a big problem.
Either way, they were out burning couches last night. Shout out another loyal listener, Buddy Brian, comments on our posts all the time. He was at the game and he was on State Street.
You
there
realize
burning couches.
though,
So
I know UK is having a great year, but you realize Georgia's a problem.
Georgia's very good.
Georgia's a problem. Georgia goes in there. Well, they play Arkansas. So Georgia goes to play Arkansas, who's been on a roll.
Undefeated Arkansas.
They lose their quarterback and still fucking dog walk them by running the ball up the middle.
37-0.
Kick their fucking ass.
You know what's scary?
Easy.
You know what's
dude.
scary about Georgia too is we all know how much of a beast Dalvin Cook is, right? Dalvin Cook's a monster. Played at Florida State, one of the best running backs in the NFL, probably top 3 in the NFL as far as running backs. And Georgia, with all that talent on their team, they still have Dalvin Cook's little brother, who's a freaking beast as well. And they're just like, hey,
crazy.
give it to Dalvin Cook's brother, and he'll just run it over him.
So looking at UK schedule, for being the SEC, dude, they have a pretty weak schedule coming up. I mean, they play Georgia, which is a big game, but other than that, they play Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, New Mexico State, Louisville, Tennessee.
So they
Those
should
aren't very big
they should
games.
definitely
So
they should 100%
they might win out.
100% should win the Tennessee game, the Louisville game, and the who was the other easy gas game they had?
New Mexico State.
New Mexico State. They 100% win those.
I'm guessing that's New Mexico.
Even Mississippi State, I wouldn't count them out. I don't think Mississippi State's terrible, but I wouldn't count them out.
So LSU's not having a great year, right?
LSU's not having a great year.
They're not very good.
UK has a real chance to have a really good season.
They have a real chance at a 1-loss season.
They have a really good chance at a real good
And
season.
who knows? Who knows? But Georgia looks, I mean, to me, Georgia looks like the number 1 team.
I'll put it this way. I don't think it's going to happen, UK fans. I don't want to hype you up, but if UK goes 1 loss, only loss to Georgia, obviously they don't make the SEC championship because Georgia would then make it. But UK is making a BCS bowl, making a New Year's Six bowl. If they're 11 or 10-1 or whatever in the SEC,
I'd agree.
only loss to Georgia. That'd be awesome. I hope they do it. That'd be awesome. I hope they do it.
I agree. I mean, they didn't really have a challenge up until Florida, but
No, not really.
I'm not knocking
well, they beat
UK.
South Carolina.
First
Pretty
time UK beats Florida in Lexington since 1984, I believe it was, which is awesome.
Long time.
Awesome.
Long
I'm
time.
happy for UK. I'm really happy for them.
See, that's one of those scenarios where, like, the Pittsburgh fans think like the Bengals-Pittsburgh's not a rivalry.
Yeah.
Like, the
Oh, yeah.
Florida fans probably look at the UK fans like, what the hell?
hear something crazy?
Y'all are ridiculous.
I remember back when I was probably 11, 12, something like that. Me and my dad were watching a Purdue game. It was Purdue versus Michigan at Michigan in the Big House. Purdue wins the game. Michigan was kind of average that year, and Purdue actually had a really good team. Purdue won. First time they won at Michigan since 1962. How insane is that? And this was like 2009 or something like that, 2008.
Crazy.
That's a long time.
if we're speaking college football, I think there's a couple upcoming games that we need to cover.
Oh yeah,
Penn State versus Iowa.
We
It's gonna be a big game.
Get to see who the best.
What's
team in the
going
Big
on?
Ten
I
is,
mean,
right?
this is
See who
huge.
the best team in the Big Ten is. I think it's what 3 versus 4.
Yeah.
So the issue, I think, if Penn State can squeak it out, they're in the same situation UK is, where they have the easy side of the Big Ten that they could actually make a run.
Penn State,
Penn State, right?
they have a pretty hard schedule.
Penn
coming
State
up.
has the hard schedule.
Yeah.
Iowa has the easy
yeah.
schedule. Okay, so Iowa.
Whoa.
Yo, no, that's the bad side of the Big Ten. I'm sorry to tell you.
They got to play Purdue, which they've lost 3 in a row to.
So I think Iowa has a real chance of winning out if they can get this win here. And I think they're the better team. I think their defense is awesome. And I don't know, man. I just think Iowa's got it. What do you think?
I'm going to go for Iowa mainly because I like Iowa more. I would not be surprised if
Where's
Penn
that?
State won. It's at Iowa. So
Ooh, that's a
Iowa,
big difference.
Iowa and Kinnick, right? Kinnick Stadium. It's going to be an afternoon game, so not a night game. But the fans are going to pack it.
Flex it.
The Iowa fans are crazy, right? They're rowdy, ridiculous. That's the only thing they have in the entire city is just go to Iowa football games and get drunk. So, but if their offense can play well, they'll win this game because I don't see a scenario where Penn State's quarterback Sean Clifford doesn't turn the ball over. Maybe even at least twice. Like Iowa's defense is that good, and Sean Clifford is known for turning the ball over in stressful situations. He's played very well this year, though, so I don't want to doubt him because he's surprised me about how well he's played.
Penn State held Indiana to no points last week.
Yeah, their
Their defense,
awesome.
has to be good.
Yeah, I don't trust Iowa's offense, but I got to give them credit. They played pretty well against Maryland, scored like 50-something points. 6 picks helps your offense get better field position, but still, they did what they needed to do. So,
Yeah.
All right, just to keep things rolling here. Oh, you okay?
Are you moving on from college football or are you going to
No, I want to talk about a couple more.
Oh, I was just going to say one more thing on this. So good for you, for a UC fan,
They play each
because
other.
yeah, they're playing each
Yeah.
other. So that means that if UC wins next week, I mean, you had to put UC in the top 4, right?
yeah.
I mean, unless it's like an overtime scramble of a game.
Yeah. I mean,
They're both right there.
I think UC probably jumps one, and they might get jumped by Oklahoma because
I'm telling
they're
you.
high on their heels. They might get jumped by Ohio State, who's high on their heels. But I want to speak about more Big Ten because you have Michigan fans acting ridiculous.
Donkulous 5-0.
Michigan over Ohio State. I don't know when that game is, but that's
Last
the
game of the
rivalry,
year,
Yeah,
right?
it's the
Last
last
game
game
of
of
the
the
year.
year, probably.
What are we thinking?
So as a UC fan, you better hope that happens, but I don't think it'll happen. I think Ohio State's still better. I think Michigan's good. But
They're the best rushing team in the league
Yeah.
as far as I've seen.
they haven't played like great opponents. So they played Wisconsin, who's been really bad this year. They played a couple no-name teams. They just absolutely dog-walked, which they
Who you talking
should've.
about, Michigan?
Michigan. Who have they played this year? I know they played some team. They won like 63-3. They fucking dog-walked them.
Northern Illinois, they won 63-10.
63-10. That's what
And
it
they
was.
played Rutgers.
Rutgers.
And then Wisconsin.
Rutgers almost came back and beat them, correct?
Yeah, 20-13.
Yeah.
Michigan
So-
barely squeaked that one out.
Yeah.
Dude, Michigan has a pretty hard schedule, too. They have number 11, Michigan State, number 4, Penn State, and then number 7.
Yeah, I'm not. I do not see a
Ohio
scenario
State?
where they don't lose at least 3 games. Like seriously, I just don't think they're that good.
So Michigan fans
I
can
think
shut up.
I think they're better than
Words from Griffin.
I think,
Michigan fans can
Michigan
shut up.
fans,
They're tied
shut
with
your
Penn
ass-
State.
Shut your ass up, Michigan fans. Shut your ass up. I think they're better than they have been in the past couple of years, but I don't think they're gonna. I mean, they might surprise me, but I don't think they're better than Iowa, Penn State, or Ohio State.
Any other teams we should talk about? I know Oklahoma's still undefeated, and they need to lose. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're better than UC, but I think they need to lose.
They're gonna lose.
Because if they go undefeated, UC's not going to
Shout out
bid
Spencer
over it.
Rattler actually had a good game.
This weekend, they play Texas. Texas ranked 21.
The Red River rivalry,
Yeah.
baby.
You know what I think about this Texas team?
No Hortons down.
Red River rivalry. It's gonna be
do you think
college
about
game
them?
day.
The Texas teams are all overrated, but they get tons of money.
Yeah.
So they rank them super high.
Tons of
Do
money.
you know how big football
Have you
is
seen
in
how
Texas?
bad Texas A&M is?
Have you seen
Have you seen where
How
they were
much
ranked at the
money?
beginning of the season?
Do you know
Texas
how much
forever.
money?
Texas forever.
Yeah, dude, fucking Tim Riggins.
Riggins,
He runs that
Texas
bitch.
forever.
Now, I mean, now that the NIL stuff is out, Texas might make another solid run back in the top 5, top 10
For sure. I mean,
Right,
they're
in the
4-1 right now. 2-0 in
next
the
couple
division.
years. So
I'm just going to make a prediction real quick. It's 2 weeks away, but I'm going to make the prediction now because Jeff Brom gets a week to game plan, get his fucking offense together after scoring 13 points against Illinois, 13 points on
you talking about
homecoming.
Purdue?
Yes, 13 points.
Nobody
on,
fucking
listen,
cares.
I do. 13 points on homecoming when they played on homecoming against Minnesota, who just lost to Bowling Green, only scored 13 points. They got to go against the best defense in the league in 2 weeks, Iowa, who Jeff Brom owns in his college football coaching career, they're going to cover against Iowa. That's my best bet.
So
that's my bold statement. They're going to cover against Iowa.
Do you not fear Houston? I mean, they're sitting 4-1 right now, 2-0 in the conference.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, any team can win any game, right?
Yeah.
But if there's teams to fear, I fear SMU for sure. SMU just took down TCU. Pretty big win for SMU. Also, I always fear UCF. I know that UC is a way better team than UCF, but there's been the going rivalry there, and rival games. But basically, shit goes out the window when you play rivals. I don't know if those are home or away games, which UC's got to have some home games coming up because they've went on the road and played some pretty tough teams. So
looks like UC plays UCF at home.
At home.
Next
so that makes me feel a lot more comfortable because they got a lot of fucking people that go to that school and it gets pretty loud in that stadium. I know you call it's an American Conference team, but they got what? How many students? 100?
That go to school there like 70,000.
70,000?
It's the most.
Yeah, they got a lot of that shit gets rowdy. Dude.
Biggest college. Yeah, University of Sun and Fun. Oh, no, that's USF. I do want to ask something though, real quick. So, not as scared of Houston. What changed? You were so high on them in the tournament last year, though.
Oh, that was
The basketball team.
I mean, their basketball team is good.
It was a joke.
All right, let's move on to the MLB.
Final thing, MLB. Yankees, Red Sox. Tomorrow night, the day you're listening to this, it's going to be tonight, but tomorrow night when we're recording this, that's awesome. One game playoff, Yankees, Red Sox.
Let's
awesome.
go. That's going to get us back into baseball for a hot second. I mean, that's the biggest rivalry in baseball by far. I know you can go over to the Giants, LA, but Boston, New York. You see people fighting. You see people getting their faces punched in the stands. You got fans throwing baseballs
in Fenway too.
Players.
It's at Fenway.
Oh, it's at Fenway.
Running around.
So many massholes talking so much shit.
Fenway is the coolest place to ever experience.
You got people dumping beers on players, dude. This is gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be a wild ride.
It's gonna straight up be 0-2 strike. Guy from on top of the monster yelling, acting like he can hear him. Hey, Judge, you cocksucker! You ain't got shit.
Super fun.
That'd be fun.
Anything else? I mean, insane run at the end of the year for St. Louis.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
Fuck them.
I can do it again.
Who else we got to talk about? You said insane.
Giants and Dodgers both scoring 107, 106 wins. That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Two teams in the same division to win that many games. It's ridiculous.
Insane that LA did it, and even crazier that the old men of the Giants did it.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers did it without Bauer.
They have all kinds of.
Right. They did it without. That's pretty crazy to think about. That they
did
all
it
that money
without a $300 million pitcher that they just bought.
That'd be interesting because didn't he sign essentially 3 one-year deals?
Yeah.
If the Dodgers are
they're out, they're out of the last 2 years right now. If he doesn't play, they don't have to pay him the last 2 years.
Speaking of him,
they had to pay him this year. Though
I've seen a lot of things that say that he's never ever going to play MLB again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So we might have seen the end of Bauer.
You should have stayed in Cincinnati where there ain't fucking shit to do. You probably wouldn't have got in trouble.
I think this stuff happened before he was in Cincinnati.
Oh,
I thought it's been like
I have no
a little
idea.
while ago.
I don't know either.
It's very underreported.
And then
As it should be.
Yeah, I know. And last thing, MLB had a real chance to have a chaos last day, and it didn't happen. So, yeah, that sucked. There was a chance the Mariners out of nowhere made the playoffs over like the Red Sox or the Yankees, and it just didn't happen. I was rooting for it. It's been awesome, the Mariners, because they actually are low on payroll, Zach. I was hoping they were going to just come out of nowhere and make the playoffs, and just missed out. So
it's all right. Tampa Bay Rays are going to win it all.
They're a good team. They very well might.
Yeah.
Really good team.
All right, Jake, get us out of here.
Good ending to a good show. We brought the gridiron back to the garage in that one. Make sure you tune in tonight, Tuesday, to go watch some MLB. It's going to be an awesome game. Tune in Thursday to Gridiron Garage. We're out of here.